I heard a news story on my local news channel the other night, and they were talking about NASA wanting to send nudes into outer space. And I was like, what? So I went and I looked, and I found an article on KWTX Channel 10 out of, I think it's Houston. And there is an article, and it says NASA wants to send nudes into space. And this was published by CNN, actually, on May 10th. And it says researchers have put forward a proposal for a message to be transmitted from Earth out into the Milky Way in hopes that extraterrestrials will find it. The message plan includes representations of DNA, a map of the solar system, and illustrations of nude humans waving hi, one male and one female. The message ends with an invitation for extraterrestrials to respond using their own telescopic technology. How can they even think that this is a good idea? I mean, I don't know if I believe in aliens or not. I'm kind of on the fence with that. But if they're out there, we don't want them here. I don't. So I went over to Snoops, and I don't really give a lot of credit to Snoops, but they are right on some things. And their article says no, NASA does not plan to send nude pictures into space. Snoop spoke with NASA and the lead authority of a popularly cited study to clarify. It says the claim NASA will launch naked pictures of humans into space in the hopes of attracting aliens. The rating, it's false. Context. A NASA spokesperson told Snoops that the idea was a thought experiment partially authored by two NASA scientists, was not under the direction of the U.S. Space Agency. Furthermore, an author of the study told our team that the peer-reviewed research was published as a scientific concept to describe one way of possible communication with life beyond our own planet, should it exist. It is not an action plan. But why naked pictures? There's got to be other way. If they just want to communicate with them, you don't need to send naked pictures of humans. Fact check. Neither NASA nor its scientists have any intention of sending nude pictures into space, despite a number of pop culture websites and even credible media outlets reporting as much in early May of 2022. The claim that NASA scientists plan to launch pictures of naked humans into space in the hope of luring aliens to us was originally published by a tabloid publication, The Sun, on May 3rd, and was subsequently shared by some news outlets and posted to social media. But the news reports we looked through were not entirely accurate, and some grossly misrepresented intentions by both the space agency and the research team. In a statement emailed to Snoops, a NASA spokesperson noted that the research is not an initiative affiliated with the agency, and that two of the study authors, Jonathan Yang and Kristen Fahey, who are both employed by the NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, contributed to the study because some of the work intersects with their areas of expertise. But this was not work they were directed to do so by NASA, and NASA is not working on a broadcast of this kind. Many of the news reports were based on a preprint version of the study published in Archive, an online database of studies that have not undergone the rigorous process of peer-reviewed publication. A revised and highly edited version of the study titled A Beacon in the Galaxy updated a Crucible message for potential fast and SETI projects. It was published in the March 2022 issue of Galaxies, though many news outlets still linked to a draft version of the research. The spokesperson also noted that the research builds on previous work to explore opportunities to communicate with potential life forms beyond Earth, none of which was overseen by NASA. Carl Sagan and Frank Drake crafted the messages on the NASA Pioneer 10 and 11 plaques and the Voyager Golden Record, along with a few other folks, NASA told Snoops. NASA actually wasn't involved with the creation of the content on those, even though those items flew on NASA spacecraft. For the ACBO message, also led by Sagan and Drake, NASA was not involved in the creation of the content or the broadcast of the message. In addition to NASA not being involved with the study, we were also told that there are no immediate plans by the researchers to broadcast any such messages into space. Simply put, the research is a hypothetical scenario posting how such a message might be broadcast and what it might include to best represent humanity. Snoot spoke with Zhang, a principal scientist and astrophysicist with NASA JPL, in a Zoom call to clarify the intent of the study. He told our team that the study establishes a hypothetical means to send a message to potential alien life forms somewhere in the Milky Way galaxy. The study presents an idea that a scientific concept to describe one means of possible communication with life beyond our own planet should it exist. It is not an action plan, and one that Zhang says more cohesively incorporates diversity, equality, and inclusion into its message. Our philosophy in this messages like Arecibo and Voyager, cannot be determined by one institute or by one country. We've got to send this as citizens of the Earth. It has to be determined not by one country, but maybe an international organization, he told Snoops. So, this is one of the major motivations for why we publish this. We want to publish this in the open literature so that everybody can see it. The purpose for that is to encourage discussion and bring people awareness that we are citizens of the Earth and we share the same fate. To do this, the research team revamped previous messages sent to space to be more representative of different populations around the world and leaned on a team of international scientists to ensure their message did so. This was largely inspired by the photograph of Earth captured by NASA's Curiosity rover, seen from the surface of Mars. You see the Earth as a tiny dot embedded in the darkness of space. From Earth, if you look at Mars, it's about the same, a tiny dot. That reminds us that no matter where you are, what country you're in, which race, a man or a woman, we are all living on this tiny dot. So I found an article that was published on May 6th of 2022 by Fox 35 in Orlando. And it states, scientists create message to beam into outer space but say humanity isn't ready yet. I'm not ready. It says an international team of scientists have studied the possibility of beaming a message into outer space aimed at any extraterrestrial life that may also be listening or looking for other life forms. The study outlines how this project, called A Beacon in the Galaxy, could hypothetically establish a universal means of communication of what Earth and its residents are like to any aliens in the cosmos. Driven by a broader inquiry, ancient scholars gazed at the stars wheeling through the vault of night and inevitably confronted what is perhaps the most profound of all questions. Are we alone? Or are those points of lights in the sky home to others that we may not yet come to know? Study authors wrote. This project, for me personally, is one of more than 20 years. Jonathan Zhang, who is a co author of the study and is a principal scientist at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Zhang noted that while he is heavily involved in the BITG project, he is working as an individual scientist and that this is not a NASA initiative. Zhang first became fascinated with potentially communicating with alien life when he was young. Highlighting NASA's Pioneer Missions 10 from 1972 and 11 from 1973, he spoke about how the aim of both missions were not just deep space exploration, but potentially making contact with extraterrestrial intelligent life, or ETI. Both spacecraft carried a graphic message in the form of a 6 by 9 inch gold anodized plaque bolted to the mainframe. The metal plaques had a time and place of origin, so they may one day find themselves in the hands or tentacles of any other spacefarers out there in the galaxy. While attending a conference nearly 3 years ago, Zhang said that this topic of sending messages to outer space aimed at aliens came up and that he wasn't the only one fascinated with it. So I said, hey, let's do that, Zhang said as he snapped his fingers. So he and several scientists got together to update the outgoing message from the 1970s, beaming messages into outer space. In 1974, the Arecibo radio telescope in Puerto Rico, which suffered major structural damage and was eventually shut down in 2020, sent out the first deliberate message into outer space, according to SETI. The message was broadcasted as a radio signal towards the M13 globular cluster and some 25,000 light years away, according to study authors. The message was also in binary and included the base 10 mathematics system, the most common elements to humans and our solar system, including the location of Earth. Even more recently, in 1999 and 2003, the Evaporatoria Transmission Messages, ETMs, were sent containing easily distinguishable alphabet systems and included the exhaustive list of our basic mathematics and psychics knowledge, they said. But the most important thing about the ETMs were that they were contained in an invitation to respond, which Archivo transmission did not have. How would the newest message be sent? The most recent message could potentially be sent through the 500-meter Aperture Spherical Radio Telescope, or FAST, located in southwest China. A second option would be the SETI Institute's Allen Telescope Array, or ATA, in Northern California. However, despite having these powerful tools at our disposal, scientists said these two telescopes can only receive radio transmissions, but not transmit them. Both may possibly be upgraded through future enhancements that will enable the transmission of messages as well. If so profound a goal as communication with alien civilizations is to be realized, the powerful tools of FAST and ATA must be paired with an equally well-designed and constructed message to transmit, study authors suggested. Whenever these upgrades happen, scientists plan to send the message to a star cluster in the Milky Way that they believe has the highest probability to harbor life. The star cluster is between 6,500 and 19,500 light years away from the center of the galaxy. What would the entire message say? In order to potentially get an understandable message across to aliens, scientists need to consider the many differences that may occur should there be life outside of our solar system. For instance, Jang said that while it is very possible that an extraterrestrial will harbor the same molecular characters that we humans carry, their features may differ. And aliens are probably speaking a different language than we speak on Earth and could be using a completely different math system compared to us. The one thing that can be universally understood, according to Jang, is binary. Binary should be universal. Why? Because our consciousness is formed by many yes and no's, on or offs. Is this a computer or a table? Am I talking to a person or I'm drinking tea? Jang explained. Consciousness is millions of yes or no's put together. Scientists propose sending the message in binary code via radio waves towards a habitable part of the Milky Way. The message could feasibly contain coded depictions of great cultural works of art and architecture and or images of nature such as forests, mountains, and oceans, authors suggested. The message would also contain digitized images of the molecular makeup of hydrogen and helium, two of the most important elements needed to create life, and even digitized images of the male and female forms. Jang also explained the reasoning behind the image of the male and female forms. Not only is it meant to show aliens what we look like, but it's also meant to show equality between man and woman. There's two deep reasons for that. The first one is the definition of life is reproduction. Life moves on because it's able to reproduce itself, Jang said. And the second reason for the images, Jang explained, was that in 1972, when Pioneer 10 launched, inside the spacecraft was a gold disc that had an image of a man and a woman. On the 1972 disc, the man had his hand raised and the woman stood beside him with her arms down. The original image is a man raising his hand. The woman is sort of obeying. Oh, we want to update that to show man and woman are equal, Jang said. So in an updated image, both the man and woman have hands raised. Also included in the message will be Earth's binary and decimal systems, prime numbers including the largest prime number, mathematical operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, exponential operations, algebra. Oh, well, most of us humans don't even get algebra. Particle physics, DNA structure, a map of our solar system and where Earth is located, an image of Earth and its characteristics. So, they're wanting to make contact. I kind of get it, but in the same sense, I don't want them here. What if we don't need a real Independence Day happening up here in the United States or anywhere else in the world? There's supposed to be some kind of press conference today, or NASA's supposed to testify to Congress or something about extraterrestrial life and aliens, so that should be interesting. Do you believe in aliens? Let me know in the comments below, and y'all have a good day.